Update: would I be the asshole if I stopped baking cookies for the retreats that have come to expect them? It's been more than a year since my original post, which I know is quite a long time. It seems a bit silly now that I was so consumed and frustrated by something so small as cookies, but here we go. As a number of the comments suggested, I ended up talking to the owner of the shop and telling her that I wasn't going to bake cookies for the retreats anymore. I told her I felt belittled and disrespected by her behavior and that of the retreaters. Her response was basically, they expect the cookies. What do you expect me to tell them? They're not going to want to come to retreats anymore. You should have never baked them at all. This whole issue is going to be bad for business. I went home feeling completely invalidated. She completely gaslit me. I read and reread some of your comments multiple times and decided to stand my ground on this. She didn't threaten to fire me or anything, not that she could have. She needed me, but she continued to guilt trip me and try to manipulate me into baking again. She even had some of the retreaters come to me offering me money to bake for the retreats. At this point it wasn't about the pay, it was how people were treating me. I refused and started applying to other jobs because I was sick of the environment. The thing is, I'm actually a licensed pharmacist. I was working for minimum wage at a quilt shop because I was burnt out in an oversaturated and overworked field. I was depressed because I was a doctor of pharmacy, 8 years of college completed, and I didn't feel mentally fit for working in that field because of my mental health. I worked for this quilt shop for a year. I learned some things, got a break, and regained some of the mental health I lost. This cookie debacle was the push I needed to regain my self-worth and go back to the field that I wanted to be in. Within a month I found a job as a pharmacist at a federal prison. I loved it from my first day. I've been there a year now and I love every day of it. My job has meaning, my coworkers are awesome, and every day is a new experience. It took a few months, but I got my baking mojo back. I'm known throughout the prison by my actual name and people come to visit the pharmacy for some cookies or whatever baked good I decide upon, and they stay for conversation. I found a job I love and a group of people who appreciate my baking and don't use me as a cookie slave. Thanks, Reddit. You guys are awesome.
I'm happy for you. I know how you feel, as I'm also a baker and actually closed my at-home baking business because people reacted the same way. Good for you for standing up for yourself and finding your mojo. I wonder how many people stopped going to retreats. If only people had treated you better and appreciated your gift of cookies. But it worked out for you in the end. Glad you have a job you enjoy and can enjoy baking again.
Wow. That's awesome. Very happy to hear such a positive outcome from your experiences. This is great. Once something you love to do gets turned into an obligation and even a burden, that can really ruin it. Glad you got a new job and got your baking mojo back.
With the hell that is 2020, I need more of these kinds of good updates. Congrats.
Congrats. That is an awesome update. You should add a too long did not read with the caption. Stopped baking cookies, ended up in prison, winking face. Awesome. There's nothing more gratifying than doing what you love for people who appreciate the value of your work.
A good, wholesome update. I'm very proud of you, Op, for standing your ground and finding a job that you enjoy. Good luck on your future endeavors.
This is what social media is good for and should do more of. Building up a fellow human and helping them feel better and do better for themselves. Good job all around.
Such a great update to read. So happy for you and your growth and your new job. Now I want cookies.
Congrats on reclaiming your identity both in baking and in the pharmacy world, which is sadly terrible right now. Farm tech going on 20 years. I wish you all the best in your new happy place. If a retreat fails due to lack of cookies, then she needs to review her business plan.
Gotta love this story. A suburban bunch of quilting old ladies are the greedy, selfish antagonists, and a bunch of prisoners are the heroes who gave our protagonist's life its meaning again. I'm glad things worked out well for you. I do wonder about the business model of a quilt shop where the owner thinks people will only come to quilting events if there's a particular type of cookie, though. The emphasis for them should have been on the fun and learning together of quilting, not just cookies.
Op, I don't know you, but your update really makes me happy for you.
If you ever decide to write a memoir, please call it, Cookies, Quilts and Convicts.
What a wonderful update.
Damn, a pharmacist at a federal prison? I have nothing but respect for you and for how you handled this whole thing. Good for you. I love quilting too, but it can be a lot of little old ladies nitpicking at you until it gets really out of hand. You know you're a shitty manager when people would rather work in a federal prison than work for you.
If your former employer's entire business is going to suffer because one of her employees can't bake free cookies for everyone anymore. Maybe her business plan is the problem. Woman shrugging. Happy to hear you are doing well. As another PharmD who doesn't work in that field anymore, but volunteers and contracts in prisons, I commend you. I've taken to writing novels about crime and victimization. It's satisfying. Enjoy the work. It sounds great.
Other Redditors may demand a cat tax, but I demand a cookie tax. We need pictures of those cookies.
There is nothing more gut-wrenching than finding out you aren't valued based on any sort of relationship, but on what the other person can get from you. My gut twisted reading this. I've been there, and I'm very glad you made changes for the better. From a fellow pharmacist you quilt letting them take advantage of you. Haha, I kill me. But seriously, congrats on the new path you've taken.
Not the asshole. If people were going to the retreat because of the cookies and would stop going if there weren't cookies anymore, that's a bad retreat. It's the owner's job to get people interested in the retreat, not yours.
How did your boss respond to you leaving the quilting job? Super glad you found something fulfilling and that you're being respected now, it makes all the difference.
Lol, so the retreat's only value was the cookies you baked? That's not exactly inspiring any confidence in the retreat.
So you were actually a highly educated, multi-talented baker and these people reduced you to cookie lady. Op, you are a badass, don't look back and keep being awesome.
I appreciate you and I don't even know you. I love cookies but I appreciate your passion for doing something that spreads so much joy. I wish you well. I'm so happy you're getting the respect you deserve. Wow. I just woke up and this absolutely exploded overnight. Thank you so much for all the awards and upvotes. I'll try and respond to everyone but it will take a while.
Wow, was not expecting the pharmacy twist. Epic update. This was wonderful to read.
I didn't see your first post when you posted it, but my response would have been for you to say, here is my cookie order form. 50% that should cover ingredients and labor costs must be paid 4 weeks in advance with the remainder your profit due upon delivery. Then deliver the cookies, get your money, and don't go on the retreat. But this is even better. Congrats on the job.
Wow. That moment when the people in prisons treat you with better respect than some retreat people. I'm glad you found your niche.
That is wonderful to hear. It's so good to hear about someone who made positive and successful changes in their life.
This is wonderful news for you. I've read some of your comments and I'm curious if you ever spoke to your boss, now friend, about the cookie debacle again. I missed your original post the first time around, but this reminds me of the Friends episode where Monica keeps making candy to put out for the neighbors. I have no idea who you are yet I feel such an immense sense of pride. So glad you stood up for yourself and found happiness in the process. All the best for your new job and cheers for making my day.
Yay for happy endings.
I am so happy to read that you are baked to working a job you love. I did find it a bit amusing that working in a prison is a better place to work than a pharmacy that deals with the public. It says a lot about the behavior of people today. Seriously, congratulations, and I am truly happy that you have your cooking mojo back along with the rest of your life. Good news is always wonderful to hear. Thank you for the update. Take care of yourself and stay safe.
What a beautiful update. Thank you for keeping us in the loop to watch you blossom. I guess a thank you to Quilt Shop for the valuable lesson and push you needed. You seem like a very lovely person and I wish you nothing but the best moving forward in this awesome new chapter in your life. Heart. I am so happy for you. What a fabulous update. Sometimes, we get into a rut and it is hard to find the confidence to get out. It took a lot of strength to do what you did.
It's starting to get this way around my workplace with baklava. It's just a small office so they know my name, but the only time some people speak to me is to ask when I'm bringing in more baklava. I've had to start saying, as soon as someone chips in for the ingredients. Pecans and walnuts and honey are expensive. Not to mention the 1.5 pounds of butter.
Glad to hear you're doing well. Also glad you usually bake cookies given your new job, since it's harder to bake a file into a cookie than a cake.
This is such a beautiful update that I did not see coming. Who knew under this cookie debacle was someone with a whole new chapter of their life waiting to blossom. I'm so happy you put your foot down and found happiness in a new job. You deserve this win.
I'm really glad everything worked out for you.
Don't use me as a cookie slave. Cookie Slave is the band name. Don't Use Me as a Cookie Slave is its first single. They sound like Weird Al Yankovic combined with the Meat Puppets, and there's just a touch of the Ramones, as well.
I used to work in an office where it was pretty common for people to bake things, and then set pan of baked goods on the end of their desk for everyone to enjoy. It was a common joke that it was hard to lose weight around the office, because you couldn't walk to your desk without passing a tray of treats along the way. But we never expected someone to bring something in, except for the Xmas potluck. Even then everyone was volunteering a dish of their choice, whether home-made or store-bought. It sounds like your previous workplace felt entitled to a specific thing, and was taking advantage of you. I'm glad you've found a new workplace that appreciates you, and not your contribution to their waistline.
I'll say not the asshole if you share the recipe.
I'm crying. This is the wholesomeness I needed today. It actually sounds like a pretty toxic group of women. I'm so glad you got to a place you are appreciated.